Which is the most punishing? Hanging leg raises or lunges?
Ooh, lunges for sure.
What's the bigger endurance sap? Rocks or sand?
I would say rocks.
Better leg strength? Squats or leg presses?
Leg press.
What's a better grip strengthener? Farmer's carry or wrist curls?
Wrist curls for me.
Better hydration? Gatorade or pickle juice?
I'm going to go with Gatorade.
Are you going to pick steady cardio or interval training?
Interval. Jason Winn. I'm from Frankfort, Kentucky.
You know, the ride started out on a full tank with high hopes, but after 300 yards of paddling through muddy muck and picking up the bike for the fourth time, reality has set in. You are sucking wind, questioning your life choices, and wondering if you're actually as fit as you thought you were. Welcome to Moto Adventurer Unscripted, a weekly podcast about motorcycles, outdoors, and adventure. I'm your host, Drew Faulkner. Today, I am joined by Jason Winn, a seasoned off-road rider, fitness enthusiast, and recent convert to the ADV world. Today, we're talking about why so many riders hit that endurance cliff and how you can level up your fitness without living in the gym. As usual, we want to hear from the listeners. Hit us with an email, motoadvr@gmail.com. Leave a comment here on Spotify. If you happen to be listening over at Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Wherever you're listening, grab your beverage of choice, turn it up, and we hope you enjoy the show. If you can dive down the memory hole with me, sir, do you remember your first experience of picking up your ADV bike on the side of the trail?
Oh, yeah, very, very vividly. Of course, well, let's get into that. My very first time picking up my T7, which is, my dirt bike nowadays. I decided to send it up this stupid hill, and there was like a bunch of diagonal roots going down it. And of course it washed the front end, spun me around, and it kind of fell top side down. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the worst situation for a, damn near 500-pound bike. And luckily I had two people with me because I wasn't picking it up by myself. Like the foot peg was hung in a root. It was basically upside down. Like it was a mess. And then I learned very quickly, like those big bikes can get you in trouble, and I better get a little bit stronger if I'm going to do stupid shit on this bike.
It is funny how it can be a little confidence inspiring at first until the snake bites you, right?
Yes. Because it does dirt bike things, right? And then as soon as it bites you, it's like, uh-oh, I'm playing with a lot more weight here. It takes a lot more to, unscrew yourself if you get yourself in a pickle.
With some prodding from my buddy Logan, I've returned to the gym this winter, and ironically, you were with me in the experience that told me that I'm like, you know what? I've got to get this under control. We did that DBB ride, I think is what it was, or a preview to that ride or whatever. And we had extra bonus time, so we went on a bonus adventure, and I was wearing that bike upside down, high-sided over into that whole
I do remember that
Jeep thing or whatever. It was like, yeah, I'd have been screwed. Had I been here by myself, no, there was no way I was getting out of that. That would have been a mess. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not in racer shape anymore at all. So I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, because you've raced dirt bikes, and obviously you're new to the ADV world, or newer, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Obviously you've taken like that, like a fish to water on that whole deal. But I kind of want to talk about what it's like when you hit the endurance wall, because I think some people listening have felt it. I think some have been close and haven't been there yet. Do you have a good story to kind of really give us a visceral experience of what it's like to go, I'm tapped?
I mean, yeah, it's like what I always describe it to people, especially like in the racing community, is like, you can go X amount of speed, like you can go this fast on your dirt bike. Like this is your skill level, right? If you get to where you hit that endurance wall, it literally takes you back 2 classes or 2 skill levels. Yeah. So if you're a B rider, it's going to take you back to, D, possibly beginner, skill level. You're going to feel like you can't ride a motorcycle because you are completely exhausted. My very first race, I'd been trail riding and riding dirt bikes for forever. My very first race was in 2009, 2010. And, I didn't think anything about it. Got about an hour or so in, and of course, you use a lot of energy when you crash and have to pick up your bike a lot, right? Well, it was a muddy race. I had to pick up my bike 4 or 5 times, and got stuck. And then literally got to where I felt like I couldn't ride a motorcycle anymore. And I was like, good grief, man, I've got to figure something out. And that was my first eye-opening experience. Like, I have to do some stuff to improve my fitness and my strength.
I always think of Walker Creek. I don't know if you remember that one real
Oh,
well. If for listeners' benefit, if you've been riding the old school Danny Boom Backcountry Byway, Walker Creek is the rail bed. And if you're headed north, there's been ledges there on and off throughout the years. They're back, right? But when I rode it way back when, they were very prevalent. Yeah, buddy of mine are deep into that, and we're like, dude, we're feet from the finish line here, and we've just been wrestling these bikes up those ledges and everything else, and just at the end, like, both of us are questioning, like, can I get back on this bike? Can I push this? Can I dump this clutch? Can I hold it upright? Through all this slippery clay. That was the first like off-road experience. And then to your point, yeah, some mutter later on. I'm like, I don't think I can finish this, man. Like,
yeah. And those problems are all prevalent on a regular dirt bike, right? Or a dual sport dirt bike. And then you amplify that so much more with an adventure bike, or, you get into the 400 or 500 pound territory. That can come at you really, really fast. And then you're in a lot worse shape.
Yeah. I've told people, like, just remember, endurance is not linear. It's, everything's going great, and then it just heads south and it does not come back.
No. When you hit the end of the wall, it's done.
So I want to unpack over the next few minutes here. I want to talk about basically how we're going to build fitness. Obviously, we're talking about endurance and how to build endurance. A little bit about core, lower body strength, grip strength, basically endurance, grip strength as well. Anaerobic stamina, some fitness to ADV application, some cross training, and some practical workouts. However, before we get started, for folks who haven't heard your episode before, give us a brain dump on some of your motorcycle experience. Take us back in time and hit us with some of the highlights for folks that haven't heard that episode.
Yeah, brief summary. I've been riding motorcycles since I was 7 years old, but never really raced. I went to a motocross race one time when I was like 11 or 12, and it went terribly. Just racing wasn't around, this wasn't in my family or anything like that. It wasn't until I was, in my late 20s, almost 30, that I met some guys down here in Georgetown that raced hair scrambles, and they got me into, that kind of riding anyway. So my riding went from just goofing around to like serious trail riding with some really good people. At age 30, I raced my first race, which is pretty late in the game for most dirt bike racers, to start out. Raced, for 14 years, pretty nonstop, barring injury, downtime, and stuff like that. Broke my leg, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and kind of took a little break. But I started in Vet B, which is 30 plus B class, just because I had so much riding experience. I felt like I was a little bit above, starting at the beginner level. Took me some years and finally worked my way to A class, which was a lot tougher. Yeah. That's when I learned through, as my skill progressed, I learned how to, progress my fitness and stuff, because it's a whole nother level as you try to go faster with these faster guys. Was able to win a 40 plus A title, my last full-time year of racing. And then just wanted to take a break and do some different stuff. And that's what led me to get my Tenere. And I pretty much treat that thing like a big dual sport dirt bike, which really wasn't my intention when I first got it. Like, I was like, oh, we're gonna go ride some forestry roads and gravel roads and stuff. And man, I just can't kick the off-road racer out of my brain, like it's just who I am. So of course, getting all the woods goodies on it and knobby tires and honestly, like the bikes, we've talked about this 100 times, but the bike, it does good things, it does all that stuff relatively easy if you're in shape enough to handle it. Right.
No, that's for sure. You and I raced together in Kentucky cross country racing, but what other series were you running through all that time? Oh
man, I have started in Coors, which was Kentucky off-road hair scramble. Some of the OGs will remember that back in Kentucky. It was the Kentucky series back in the day. Raced a handful of national enduros almost every year for 10 years. Raced IXCR Indiana cross country racing, raced OXCR Ohio cross country racing. Mid-South, both the old Mid-South and the new Mid-South, Warren
I
Racing.
was gonna say, I see Warren behind you.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much everything in our, in a 5-state area, that's a local series and national series. Race some GNCCs in a couple different states. Yeah, that's about it.
It might be somewhat of a repetitive question, but my mind is thinking like, what do you find becomes the hardest part about having endurance on the bike, and what is your first go-to solution?
The hardest part about having endurance, or
when like you realize you're like, man, my endurance is sapped. What is it that seems to come back again and again, which made you realize, hey, this isn't good enough, I'm gonna have to do
just
something
like
else
you go
besides
from
ride.
like, for me, I could ride a dirt bike pretty good, right? And I could go decently fast. But then you hit that endurance wall, and you literally like lose skill level. Like it goes away, and then you can't go as fast, and you can't ride like you know how to ride. So instantly, like, I knew that I had to get in better shape. So like when I was in B class, I figured out how to get enough fitness to be competitive, be an upfront guy, and eventually win races. And that kind of worked for a long time, right? Like I did the same kind of thing, got by on that. And then, when I progressed to the A class, I learned really quickly that it took a lot more fitness to go that speed for 2+ hours than I had, been working with. So then I had to go back to the drawing board and like really up my level of that. And eventually, after a few years, found my way back to the front of the A class, being competitive in pretty much every series in every state, being a podium guy or a winning guy, locally, not nationally. Nationally is a whole nother level. So I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to toot that horn, but yeah, like it's just levels, man. Levels to speed, levels to fitness. And the same goes with, riding the big bikes off road. Like it's a whole different deal, right? When I would race, like everything was mostly cardio with a little bit of weights, because it's, racing dirt bikes is more power to weight ratio. Riding these big bikes, even like I like to ride them, is a lot less intense. Like it's lower intensity, but it's more brute strength. So like I shifted my whole program almost in reverse, like more weights and less cardio.
World's strongest man.
Well, I don't know about that, but definitely didn't want that thing to whip my tail around. I wanted to be in control of it. So
she is a 500-pound ballerina. Like it's it's a big girl.
She ain't 480. She ain't a lady. I mean,
so when you hit the first wall and realize that you weren't getting the results that you wanted, call it back in B class, what was the first thing that you did?
So I called one of my buddies that was racing the upper end of A class at the time, and I was like, "What do you do?" And he said, "Basically, I try to either ride or race every weekend. Like most of us have full-time jobs, so we're not training like professional athletes who race and ride or practice 3 times a week.
Right.
Their job is working out, basically. We have jobs, kids, family, so it's like trying to fit all that in." He said, "I try to ride or go to a race every weekend or every other weekend, furthest. And then, he said, I'll do cardio 3 times a week and then do a day or 2 of weights, depending on how your body, tolerates that. There can be such a thing, especially for racing dirt bikes, there can be too much weights. Like if you have too much muscle, it's counterproductive to what you're trying to do. It'll actually, create arm pump and more stuff that you don't want to deal with. So it's a fine balance, and it differs for everybody, right? If you're a naturally strong and muscular guy, you don't need to do maybe any weights. You just do cardio. If you're skinny and a weakling, you might need to, bulk up a little bit to be able to handle the motorcycle and handle your workload, be able to, survive hits to the ground and all that stuff. Like the stronger you are, the better, more durable you are. So
do you feel like cardio is kind of the foundation to start with for most people?
It is, I think. I mean, the strength things vary so much. And I think if you're in really good cardio shape, like you look at most, this keeps going back to dirt bike racing because that's my background, but you look at a lot of racers, they're little guys. They're 150 to 165 pounds. They're not big muscle heads. If your cardio is good and you know how to ride a motorcycle, you can do a lot with that. And then, if you need to add some strength training in there, it's very easy to add that.
This is probably a good time. I should have probably said it already. Like, unquestionably, technique is a massive part of all of this, but we've addressed that in other episodes and we'll address it in more. To me, this one is I want to focus on fitness, but yeah, they definitely go hand in hand. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, it's good that you brought that up because that's always been a big problem of mine. My technique isn't the best. It's more of a, force the bike to do what I want it to do instead of finesse. And that requires me to be in better shape than somebody that has a lot of finesse that uses low energy to make the bike do what they want it to do. Right.
Yeah, I personally feel like it's kind of a building block thing, right? Like when most of us get into either one of these sports, you're chewed bubblegum. Like, and I'm gonna use a side story. I have a friend of mine, dude is a specimen. Like Mike is a beast, like formal special ops guy, like absolutely ripped. And he came out and rode dirt bikes with me, and he's like, "Holy shit, dude!" I'm like, "Dude, I wish I looked half the way that you do, but bike fit is." It's punishing, man. Like it's completely different, right?
It's different.
But I say all that to say that's like, yeah, like you got to get a little cardio in because you need enough energy to actually do the techniques, right? And then you need to learn the techniques, and then congratulations, now you're dumb again. You need to get you need to get some cardio to get to the next level.
I mean, if a guy could ride every day or 3 days a week, that's going to be probably the best thing you can do. Like if you're trying to be a racer, if you can ride 3 days a week, and you can afford it, the hours and wear and tear and tires and brakes and engine rebuilds, hey, go for it, man. That's going to be probably the most beneficial thing because nothing substitutes riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
The gym stuff is more like the in-between, right? Doing work that's not wearing your motorcycle out. It's when you can't go riding. It's inside if you got a home gym or if you go to a gym. It's safer. You're not going to get hurt. You're not going to injure yourself, most likely.
Hopefully not. I've got tendonitis now, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah. So it's just the in between stuff to train your heart, your cardiovascular system, your muscles, all that stuff in between riding sessions.
2020 was a disaster for the world, but I mean, you and I would probably not know each other if not for that because I just got on my bike and I rode laps like a madman during 2020. There was just so much time to ride and it was so easy to do it. I missed that desperately because I felt like I was in some of the best shape of my life in 2020 and 2021 for that reason. Now it's like, man, I need time to go actually turn some laps. So I got to go find a treadmill or something.
I know it. And then when you take a big hiatus, like that was me last summer, it got so hot that I didn't ride for like 3 months just because we had other stuff going on and I wasn't really motivated to ride when it was 90 plus degrees. And then that first time you get back out there, you're like, holy cow, like you're just zapped because you don't have the energy and it's really, really hot. So
I guess that's a great point, right? Because that's actually, again, that's how you and I got into this conversation. Like, I'm like, it's clear that I've stepped away. Not only is endurance a cliff, but it's like if you don't keep up on that, your body's like, oh, we don't need this endurance, and it just lets go.
It won't save it.
No.
If you don't use it, you lose it. That's a true statement there.
Yeah, we definitely got to keep that through there. We've talked quite a bit about endurance, but I'm kind of curious. Do you do any type of balance training at all?
No, not currently. I mean, I have in the past. Something I used to do all the time, which I've actually been talking with my wife. We work out together. I've been talking about getting back into it. Is like I used to use a Bosu ball. You know what that is?
I bet I've seen it, but I don't know what it's called.
So it looks like half of Saturn. It's like a blow up ball with like a platform on the bottom of it. Yes. And turn it upside down, and you basically stand and balance on that ball. So something I used to do all the time. And I learned this doing knee rehab from knee surgery, but doing squats on the Bosu ball with like, some dumbbells or something. But just adding that balance factor into it, it makes you engage your core, makes you balance. It's way, way harder with a lot less weight. So it's something you can do that triggers a whole lot of muscles and gives you that balance.
I'm probably going to boot that up, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, like for real.
It's good. You'll be surprised how tough it is. Maybe.
That's going to come back when we talk about some wrist stuff. Because I've been using one of those in a wrist workout. We can come into that later, but that's kind of what I've been trying to think about is slow turns in the backyard on the bike, lock to lock stuff. Like I think they go hand in hand as you have to have endurance, but at the same time, if your balance is complete garbage, you're just burning your endurance at every opportunity. So to me, it seemed like something that might go hand in hand.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like I do, like almost every time I ride, if I'm not like, if I don't have somewhere to be, if it's like a day we're covering a bunch of mileage or a race or something like that, I'll do like the slow race type thing, like just go with slow. I play ride all the time. Like I'm always goofing around, and I'm constantly, almost every time I ride, I'm trying to slow ride or out slow ride the people I'm riding with. So doing that kind of stuff. And I had my wife doing that years ago, trying to get her balance better. And man, that's a good skill to perfect, and it's easy to do, and it's fun. You're on your motorcycle, so just try to do that, and that pays dividends more than probably anything you could do in the gym, because it's realistic. You're on the bike.
Yeah, I'm in training lately, and that's been a pretty significant conversation.
Yeah.
I'm with a lot of folks that have not been in a training environment in a while. And it's like doing U-turns on a motorcycle for the average consumer is a really perishable skill. Like most of us don't
it's
do
terrifying for most people.
Yeah, and that's it. Is like, no, I'm trying to become a better off-road racer. Like the whole balance thing was the thing, and everything I heard and read was like, you need to be able to do full lock turns, let the clutch out, trust the bike, X, Y, and Z. And so I practiced that. So it made other stuff easier to include, again, balance and mastering the rear brake and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some guys in the past that run like little training camps and stuff. Like they'll lay like a 2x4 on the ground or something, and it's only 2 inches off the ground, so there's not a big fear of falling, right? And you get guys to like ride across that without coming off, and then they gradually ramp that up to doing it on a log or something that has like an up ramp, and then the stakes get higher the more you go, but it just teaches you to kind of stay in the lines there.
I need to do that, because that has been something that's been on my list. It's like, I wish with my dual sport that I felt better about riding laterally across logs and stuff just for balance. But I'm like, no, I'm terrible at that. So yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
That's something simple to practice. Yeah.
Yeah, 2x4s. I'm not going to call it cheap, not in a post 2020 world, but somebody's got one somewhere laying in their garage they don't want.
Yeah, for sure.
I did a disservice there. I didn't actually unpack a lot of stuff about cardio. When you were talking about cardio, I mean, what's your go-to? Are you a running guy, or how does that work?
Man, I used to be. I've had way too many knee injuries and surgeries. I'm 7 knee surgeries deep at almost 44 years old. My knees are junk. So like, I don't run much anymore. I used to love it just because it's convenient. You could just run right out the door, and I would do some 5Ks and stuff. But no, these days, my go-to to really punish myself is the stair climber at the gym. Like it's tough. It strengthens your legs at the same time, and it's massive cardio. Like it's really, really hard. I'll sweat on that thing more than anything that I can do. I like to, my favorite thing to do, because man, cardio just gets so dull to me and boring. I do I call it a triple threat. It's 20 minutes on the stair climber, 20 minutes on the bike, and 20 minutes either on treadmill or elliptical, just depending on what you're feeling and what's available at your gym. And that way, I mean, you can do 20 minutes of anything once you get to that level, and it just keeps it entertaining for the brain. You're mixing it up. You're doing an hour of cardio, and it feels like it goes by in no time.
Yeah. No, I'm an outdoor runner. Wouldn't say I am anymore, but Uncle Sam gave me a course that was mandatory. So there was a point where it was like 5 miles or nothing. Like it was,
well, especially like trail running. Trail running's awesome. Like I miss doing that, and that's what I was talking about. The triple threat, the gym work. That's mostly like bad weather or wintertime type stuff. If we're talking summertime, good weather, I'm a bicycle guy. I've got a mountain bike and a road bike. I don't use the road bike that much anymore. When I was racing, I would use it a lot, just because it's different types of fitness you're building right there. The mountain bike's more like interval training, and the road bike is like solid endurance training, right? You're maintaining a solid, zone 2 heart rate, which most everything I do cardio wise, I try to be like zone 2.
Define that for folks that don't know what that is.
Zone 2, I mean, you can look, I'm not super, scientific with it, but zone 2 it's a formula. Basically it's around 120 to 150, I think, or 140.
Yeah,
it depends on what your max is, right?
Yeah, it's probably 220 minus your age times a percentage.
Yeah, I forget what the exact formula is, but you should be able to talk. Some people say you should be able to sing a song, but I ain't singing. But that's your steady training like area you want to be in with your heart rate. If you do interval stuff, like you want to get into that next level and like hit your max and come back down and recover and do more zone 2 stuff. I used to do a lot of like interval stuff, and I still do with the mountain bike, but I don't do it like in the gym as much. Basically what I've learned over the years for me, and like everybody's going to be different. Everybody's body works a little bit different. But if I just do like stay in that zone 2 stuff all the time, like you can recover even if you have those spikes. You can zone 2 is your comfort zone, right? If you've trained in that area, like you can get back to that and be steady.
Yeah, I was going to tie on earlier because it's the same thing. If I'm in a gym, I hate standing still. Like I said, I'm an outdoor runner. So yeah, I love the whole concept of, like you said, the triple threat there. That's exactly what I would do is, little bit on the treadmill until I go crazy, get on a bike, finish with elliptical. I like sprints on the elliptical because that is, like you said, it's one of those things where you can kind of get a good pace where it's okay. And then I'm like, all right, we're going to sprint for a minute. All right, we're going to take it easy, for a little bit to kind of build up.
And it's kind of full body-ish, if you've got the arm one,
Yeah, no, 100% that. So, no, it's the same thing. And I liked, obviously I live in the city, so I always had the convenience of, okay, we're going to jog 2 light poles, and then we're going to sprint to the next one.
Yeah.
And then we're going to
urban jogging.
Yeah, we're going to jog the next 2 light poles, right? And it was a nice way to do 2 miles of sprints on and off. And to me, that's where I saw the biggest gains. Is it means a lot to have the endurance for distance, but it's amazing how interval training like accelerates, really helps break that plateau if you're stuck.
Yeah. It can improve like what your max is, and it teaches your heart to recover. So getting up there and then getting back down and sustaining and not like completely zapping you when you have those spikes.
I really think that's a great point. Like, I think that anybody who's listening to this episode who's been out on the big bike and has hit the wall, you could see it on their face where it's like, they can't cool down, they can't catch their breath, like they're in bad shape, and it's like, yeah, dude, that's the way to recover in the future.
That's something that I noticed right away. Like years of dirt bikes, I've gotten to the point of exhaustion, even when I'm in shape, like because you're just pushing that much harder. You get to the point of exhaustion on a dirt bike that weighs 220 pounds, you can still limp along and manage. You get to the point of exhaustion on a 500-pound bike, it's a lot, man. Like it's tough to manage. Like you don't have the energy to wrestle it. And if you're, deep in the woods on some fairly technical trails, you could be in trouble. So it's, if you're going to do that kind of stuff, you really got to prepare your body and your mind at the same time to be able to handle that stuff. You can't just go in there off the street. You see a lot of guys get these bikes and they get in over their heads really, really quick. And first thing I always say, like we've talked about, you see guys on Facebook asking, what to do with this, that. And I'm like, you got to go to the gym. You can't ride big bikes and go off road and not go to the gym. It's just a fact,
Yeah, it slapped me in the face pretty hard. Like, since we're not cross training, we're probably going to need to move some heavy stuff around.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably a really good segue, actually. When it comes to weight training, is there a core part of the body that you decide to work on the most or first, or what you think is a priority?
Nowadays, it's kind of total body. But for me, the most important thing when it comes to, especially like, serious off-road riding is legs and core. Like that was my weak point early on forever. Once my legs got tired and my back would give out, my core was weak. It kind of went downhill. Like I'm a guy that likes to stand up a lot.
Yeah.
So, I've got to have strong core and strong legs. I can't ride that good sitting down. Like it literally goes away.
Yeah.
If I stay strong enough and, my back stays strong enough, my legs stay strong enough, I can carry a pace all day long. But yeah, with the big bike, it's more total body. I focus on, pretty much every muscle group. Yeah.
You and I are the same, and I think we'll unpack some more of that. I think it's funny that you start with legs too. That was kind of the order that I had in here. That from a dirt bike perspective, I always think of a mudder where all that clay has built up on your boots, and you can't put that boot out in front of you anymore, and you're just gassed. But on a big bike, to me, it's paddling. Like you've gotten a bad situation and you're just exhausted from paddling. So,
or even picking the thing up. Like I've had so many situations where I like get the bike halfway up and I'm using my legs to basically stand it the rest of the way up. If you don't have that strength, again, it's going to be very difficult.
What kind of exercises are you doing for core and lower body then?
So core, I'd basically do weighted crunches on a weighted crunch machine. I'll do which leg lifts, I guess, can be both, but I do the hanging leg lifts. Every once in a while I'll get froggy and do the weighted hanging leg lifts. I used to do those a lot more, basically because of being in races, having heavy boots, and I would smoke my hips, and my hip flexors would be on fire. So I used to kind of train for that. But yeah, leg lifts. And then, what was we talking about? Oh, I do the reverse crunches for lower back. I do a lot of those.
Describe
Where
that
basically
to me.
you hang off like almost like an incline, reverse incline,
Uh-huh.
and you raise up.
Okay. No, I get it. Yeah.
So you
That makes
bend
sense.
over and you raise up. It's like the opposite of a crunch. You're just using your back.
Yeah. I
Kind of
call
strengthen
them,
that lower back a little bit.
back bends, but I don't think that's what
Yeah,
they're
back
called
bends, I
either.
guess. Yeah, you can call them whatever you want. That, and then legs are a big part of that. Of course, squats, leg press, lunges, calves, all that stuff. Every muscle group in the legs, make sure to hit those really good, and it makes a big, big difference.
You said squats. You do deadlifts as well, or no?
No, I want to try to do them again. Like I used to do them a lot. I have a bad back.
Mm-hmm.
I have a condition called spondylolisthesis where like my bone has little winglets on the vertebrae.
Yeah.
And they're weak from birth and they eventually give out and break and your vertebrae slips on the disc.
That's messy.
So yeah, like it aggravated those for a while. So I kind of got away from them. But that was a long time ago, early in my like fitness journey, years and years ago. I think I'm stronger as a foundation now. So I've been wanting to try to get back into like seeing if I can ease back into those because I know they're very, very beneficial. But that's about the only thing that I don't do.
Yeah, I love leg press. Have always loved it.
Yeah,
my back is a little jacked up, so squats I'm like real low weight, real timid because you can mess that up.
Yeah, I'm careful with the squats because I've definitely tweaked my back doing stuff and getting a little eager with the weight and stuff. But it goes back to core. When your core is strong, you don't have to try as much to like not tweak your back because it's tight. So it's the foundation for everything really. Like if your core is good, it makes all your weightlifting easier, makes, riding the motorcycle easier, all that.
I've been pulling a page out of my drill sergeant's playbook, and I've been just crunches and flutter kicks and frog kicks. And like, so in between sets, I'm just doing crazy ab workout stuff and feeling good. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that translates to riding because I'm hoping that it helps with the body English a little bit more.
Oh, like 100%. You'll notice it.
So are you doing anything else besides, like you said, some of the crunch weights and stuff for core, or you doing calisthenics of any kind for that?
No, not really. Just like I said, the front, the ab crunches, the reverse back bends, and the leg lifts. That kind of does, that's for me. That does what I needed to do. I feel pretty good with that. But again, everybody's different. Everybody's muscle groups work a little bit different. Different injuries, ailments. That's another thing too. Like,
that's a great point.
My knees, I've already mentioned that. Like, I've really got to manage my knees. Like if I have a big weekend of riding or whatever, like sometimes I won't do a leg workout because my knees are swollen or aggravated. So you got to give it a week to chill out. And there's certain things like you're not supposed to anyways, but I don't go past 90 degrees doing leg press or squats. You'll see some people go like all the way to the ground. I can't do that. Like it'll get me in trouble big time. So, knowing your body, knowing your ailments and managing those, working around it. But honestly, like my knees feel a lot better when I am strong, you build more muscle. It supports those joints and you're not using them to support you as much as you are your muscle groups. It pays to be stronger.
I didn't unpack this at all, but I guess we probably should. Needless to say, I'm sure you would agree. Google is your friend, right? There's a million workouts out there, but is there a certain set or a general strategy that you're using with weight? Like
as far as
three sets of X, progressively more weight, progressively less weight, that kind of thing.
The thing is like you want to do something for a while and then you want to kind of switch it up because your body gets you plateau and you get used to it, right? And then you don't really get any gains from it. You're not getting anything. You're just kind of staying the same, which, I mean, if that's what you want to do. So what I'll do is I'll usually do about 4 to 6 weeks of one thing. So like say 3 sets of X weight, progress it, as your sets go and 10 reps or 12.
Right.
And then I'll do that for 6 weeks. And then I'll go to high weight, lower reps. So like 6 to 8 reps with considerably more weight. And then you'll notice by the end of that you've gotten significantly stronger. Like that'll build your strength. And then you go back to the higher weight, and you can usually do more weight for more reps. Yeah. Do that, and you kind of just toggle back and forth.
No, that's good advice. Like I said, I've heard a lot of different strategies. I was
Yep.
overseas with, again, another guy who was a specimen. So I was like, I'm just taking, I'm just cheating off of his homework, and I've kept that for a long time. So, but I'm like,
Oh
this
yeah.
is definitely a question that people aren't really into the gym at all can look into.
Yeah. No, and there's a million different ways to go about it. Everybody's going to have a different theory, and you've got trainers that will sell you any kind of game plan or whatever. And this is just stuff that I've learned over the years and kind of done myself. I'm by no means a fitness expert or any of that, but it just works for me.
Is it, are you have a membership somewhere, or do
Yeah.
you do this at home? Okay.
Yeah. I go to a local gym here in Frankfurt.
Is there any of the stuff that you've decided to do at home just because you can't get to the gym or anything like that? I just want to offer people options if they're listening to you.
I don't have
talk.
any kind of weight set up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
There was a while I had a stationary bike that I would do at home, and then I had I still have a jump rope in the garage that I'll occasionally get out there and do. That's really good cardio for anybody that is interested in jump roping or has a jump rope. I mean, they're pretty cheap. You can get one. But it'll open if you haven't jump roped, like you'll understand really quick why boxers do it a lot. It is very, very difficult. Not only like physically and the being able to do it without tripping yourself up, but just the cardio. I mean, you do a minute of jump roping and you are smoked.
The cardio combined with coordination is bonkers,
yeah, the coordination.
Right? Hands, feet, your brain has to pay attention. Like
it's a lot.
I love it. It's been a long time since I've done much of it, but same story. When I was overseas, just trying to bulk up, I was jumping rope like a madman. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll burn some calories with a jump rope. But yeah, if I'm not in the gym and it's nice, I'm trying to be on a bicycle. I'm a two-wheel guy, so I want to be on two wheels with whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the bonus that gets me a mountain bike, but that's a different discussion on a different podcast.
Do you have any good mountain bike trails up your way?
Oh man. Yeah. We have a ton of them, but this is the unscripted podcast, right? We all know, but to me, it's always been like, you want me to spend $2,000 on a mountain bike for $3,000? I can have a bike.
You can get a decent used bike for less than that.
Yeah. I need to apparently get on Marketplace and start looking at something that isn't powered for a while and see if I can find a deal. Apparently.
Have you done any mountain biking before?
On a really horrible bike. On the trails that I'm talking about. Like there used to be 4 miles of single track mountain bikes literally across the street. Like there used to be a ton of it. And I've moved since then. Things have changed, but because of being a membership or having a membership at Dayton Dirt Riders, I could go there. I mean,
if you've got something locally that's convenient, that's the big thing. Like if it's not convenient, it's going to be hard to do and be part of your regimen. I'm really lucky, which it was part of the decision that I bought the house I bought. I'm like 5 miles away from one of my favorite places to mountain bike, Capitol View Park here in Frankfurt. It's just a perfect blend of XC type riding. Yeah. It's amazing, man. And like, I tell everybody, it's like it's my favorite way to suffer. Like it's so much fun. You just forget you're suffering. It's kind of like riding a dirt bike,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just haven't been able to make the budget right yet, but it's like, to be able to, especially in wintertime, to me, that's the thing is like, I like to keep my brain active in winter. Cause you're right. In the summertime, it's much more convenient to get on a dirt bike, but in the winter, it's like, I don't have a problem putting on some heavier jacket and going hitting the mountain bike, but it's just been cost prohibitive up until now. So, But no, that's solid advice. For whatever it's worth to listeners, if you're in the mountain bike space, Dayton has a ton of great stuff between Caesars Creek, Mamba. Obviously, I know some legal, illegal, not real sure stuff, and near where I live. Like they've turned, it's been a lot of, what do they call that? Rails to trails. There's a lot of that stuff here too, which is probably more road bike oriented. But you can now ride a bike from like Cincinnati to damn near Cleveland. Like it's
which crazy. I mean, that stuff's cool too. Like for forever, I used to like talk crap on the road bike stuff, but I mean, it's super beneficial for endurance. Yeah. For one, for two, like you can, but it's frowned upon and it sucks, but you can't ride mountain bikes in the mud. It messes up the trails. These guys do a lot of local clubs. They do a lot of work to keep the trails nice and smooth. Riding them in the mud kind of messes them up. So like I would go ride the road bike on our, we've got what's called a legacy trail. It's like a big, walking path bike trail, blacktop. So go ride that when the ground's wet, in Kentucky. I'm sure it rains probably just as much up in Dayton in the spring and stuff. So
every year, but this year.
Yeah. When I didn't have a road bike, I'd ride my mountain bike on that. So I was just still out there pedaling. Like it wasn't as fun, but.
Absolutely. So you said full body. You have advice for arms, arms, chest, back, something,
Pretty standard
special?
stuff. I mean,
Okay.
arms, I focus on I'll do wrist curls, to kind of do the forearms a little bit, bicep curls, triceps. There's many different ways. I usually try to hit each muscle group 3 times. That's just what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 different sets of biceps. I'll do like dumbbells, of course, like the cable machine, drop the thing all the way down the bottom, use the flat bar, like curl with that. And then the straight bar that's like actually got the weights on the end of it, like do that. For triceps, of course, cable pull down.
Yeah.
I'll do that with the 2-handed and then do singles. And then we have a machine that simulates doing dips. I used to do dips a lot, and I love those, but it's getting harder and harder on my shoulders to do those.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird angle. So my gym has a machine that simulates that. You sit there and you set your weight and you press down on it, and it doesn't put any torque on my shoulders. I love it. So I've been doing that a lot, and it's been going well with that. And then just, chest, back, like all the standard stuff, bench press, incline press, lat pull downs for back, seated row, do both 2-handed and 1-handed. That's a big benefit there. Like forever, I just do it, 2-handed, and then started trying to do some single-handed, and it really activates everything a lot more when you're doing it with one hand.
So
of course, you're doing a lot less weight, but
cable and one grip and just rowing on one side. I have to try that. Yeah.
Yep.
It's good advice. Yeah. It's funny you said that about that dip machine, because we also have one. So I discovered that this winter, and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic, because dips are punishing, like in a good way. But yeah, once your shoulders get jacked up, or like me, you were so out of shape that it's like, I'd be lucky to do 5 of these.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like I've been managing a torn rotator cuff for probably a decade, so I've got to be real selective with what I do. And I can't, my rule of thumb, which should be almost anybody's rule of thumb, is I don't take my elbows above my shoulders. So that knocks out like any kind of military press, which is, pressing over your head. Got to be careful with doing kind of pull-ups and stuff like that. So yeah, I've gotten to where I can pretty much manage it. If I don't sleep on it, that's the worst thing, is like laying on it. It compresses that joint and pisses it off real good. So, I'm a side sleeper, so I struggle with it big time. But yeah, just, making sure not to, tweak that joint. And that's going to hit home for our older guys, that like to stay fit and do stuff. You just learn to manage these injuries and work around them. And actually it improves your health when you figure out how to exercise and maintain it. Actually, it helps your ailments a lot.
That's what it was, is, I went back to the gym and I kind of torqued my back a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I got to get creative, but it healed relatively fast. But I was just doing arms and doing, hammer curls and aggravated tendonitis in both arms. And so now it's like, all right, I apparently need to skip most of arm day, and I got to figure out something else to do. So yeah, today it was totally like, all right, well, we're going to find some new machines today.
I'm just getting over that, and I've kind of like just bullheaded through it, but I had the same thing happen. I had a wrist surgery back at the end of October. So like I still went to the gym. I just didn't use my wrist. I didn't use my arms for a little while until it got better. But I would go in there and do legs like 2-3 times a week just to keep going. And I was doing leg press one day, and had been using my good arm to pull myself up out of the leg press machine. Well, it like strained that tendon.
Yeah.
And man, it's been hurting since December. November, December. And it just now kind of is getting to where it's not bugging me anymore. But man, it's kind of a thing that's, getting older, you'll have that kind of stuff happen, and you just gotta roll with it, man.
That's it. It's funny, because I remember my dad at this age with one of these tendonitis straps on that I've now got. And I'm just laughing, because I remember him going, you turn 40 and you get glasses. I'm like, I really wish he would have mentioned to me, by the way, when you turn 40, don't get crazy about picking heavy stuff up, because then you won't be able to pick up anything for several weeks.
Yep. It's the weirdest thing, man. Like, I hadn't been 40 for a month, I don't think, maybe a month and a half. And I literally threw my back out, putting my socks on to go to work. For no damn reason. I was like, what? I had to call into work. It just locked up. I was like, what is going on? I called my mom, and she just laughed. She's like, yep.
Oh yeah.
It's been there.
It's the wildest experience. So
yep.
Did you deal with arm pump racing?
Oh, I still deal with it.
Okay. Is there,
it's a never ending battle. So basically, if you don't know what arm pump is, your arms, your forearms fill up with blood, and you feel like you look like Popeye, and it's so tight that you can't, you almost lose your strength and you can't hold on to the motorcycle. It depends. Like if I haven't rode in a while, it's bad. You know, like if you're rusty, for me anyways, I'll get it really, really bad. Even when I'm in shape and like riding a lot, I'll get it a little bit, but it doesn't like blow up as much. It's more in my hands. Like my hands will cramp in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I can push through it and it goes away, and then I'm good. Once it's gone, like I'm good for the rest of the day, rest of the race, whatever it is. So basically a guy that's really smart that I used to talk to and bounce stuff off of all the time, he told me like basically arm pump, because it's like this huge mystery in like the dirt bike racing world, right? They do surgeries to try to fix it. And like, you know, they used to, what was that forearm strong thing, like that clamp thing people use, just a big gimmick, like just stupid stuff, pills, you know, all kinds of stupid stuff. But he told me, he said, basically it's real simple. Arm pump is your muscular output outweighs your cardiovascular system. So you're pumping blood in, and it can't pump back out fast enough.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's all it is. And also like there's a lot more to it than that. Like it's a lot for me. It's a comfort thing on the motorcycle. For example, when I changed to a new bike a couple years ago when I was racing, first few rides and races on it, like my arms were blowing up like crazy, and I was in shape. Like I was really, really prepared. So it was really aggravating and frustrating and confusing to me. And then started making some adjustments and getting more comfortable with the bike. Changed some spring rates to make the bike kind of feel a little more like I wanted it to. And bam, it's back to normal. Like I'm get it a little bit, but nothing that I couldn't manage and get through. So when I'm uncomfortable or don't trust the bike a lot, especially pushing at speeds, I hold on way tighter than I should. So I'm holding on way tight with my hands, just because I don't trust it, you know. So it's, you know, you gotta find that happy space where you're holding on. You're not holding on, but you're not like death gripping the handlebars, and you know you got a little trust in your bike, what it's going to do.
I have a suspicion a lot of the listeners probably haven't heard that expression a lot, but I have a feeling that if they've gone deep enough into some hard stuff, that they've reached a point where they can't grip the clutch anymore. They may or may not have gotten arm pump, or the description that you and I are offering may sound familiar. So that's why I brought it up. That
hydration is a lot of it too. Like if you're dehydrated, like you'll get cramps, which basically it's the same thing. You know, your arms and hands will cramp up. I know a lot of anybody who's rode off-road bikes, you've gotten late in the day, hot, sweating all day, and you get to where you can't pull the clutch and the brake. Like your hands literally just gorilla grip the bars and you can't move your fingers.
That's just shaking like.
It's all the same result, just a different way of getting there, you know.
I wanted to bring that up, that talk a little bit about grip strength, but also like that's to me it's a complex between, like you said, it's fitness, it's hydration, it's technique. To some degree, nerves is another piece of it too, right? Like it would always be like if I was super nervous about a start, or I got a great start, and so I'm much further up in the pack than usual. You're just got a death grip on that bike.
Your output. If you get a start, like you say, like if you're nervous and don't usually get starts, you get a start, then your output's going to be crazy high, because now you're like, I got to go. You know. You're out of your comfort zone.
I remember that race vividly in my head right now. And then I think I knocked my chain off, and that was the end of that.
But lesson learned, you know, I mean, it's cool to have those experiences. I think like I've done the same thing 100 times, especially early in my racing tenure, getting starts and way above my head, you know, but you learn what it takes to be there by doing that.
Yeah, like I said, I think it translates to the adventure space. You're out, you're having a good time, you're with your buddies, you're in deep to a situation, and you get in there. So, but I wanted to mention the technique thing in there. So you mentioned wrist curls. Is there anything else that you do for forearm and grip strength?
No, I've tried the spring things, and it didn't really do much for me. In fact, it made my carpal tunnel a little bit worse. I've got carpal tunnel too in one of my wrists. My throttle hand, I battle with it going numb all the time. So that's a struggle for me, and that actually flared it up, made it worse. So kind of threw those away. I know some people say they like them, just doesn't work for me. So everybody's different. But yeah, the wrist curls just to strengthen the forearms a little bit. That's about it for me.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. I was Googling other stuff because my buddy Logan does struggle with arm pump. And
Hmm.
I wanted better, stronger forearms for clutch control and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
They were talking about rolling towels. And
Yep.
so again, I don't know what they call it. It's basically a crossbar with a rope. And so I hang a 5 pound weight on it, and then
Yep.
you're pulling it up on the bar, and then you let it down all the way, and then you pull it back up on it, and it's basically simulating, twisting a towel or whatever else it is, which probably helped exacerbate my tendonitis on arm day because I did that. But I was also standing on that ball that you were talking about, so I stand on that and do that at the same time to try to work the core a little bit.
Yeah, that's a very common tool in hand and wrist therapy, as I've learned. I've had 5 broken wrists, and every different wrist therapist I've been to has had that exact thing. It's a wooden stick, like a piece of a broomstick, with a rope and a little select the weights based on where you're at in your therapy.
Yeah.
But yeah, rolling that thing up and getting your wrist to get more mobility. If you've got wrist mobility problems, that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, it was like 10-15 bucks on Amazon. So some guy at the gym was like, "Where'd you get that? I want one of those." I'm like, "Hey, Amazon, dude, it's great." So because I was actually kind of surprised they didn't have something like that at the gym. The gym I go to's got like a whole like CrossFit section. They've got like those giant like 3-4 inch diameter ropes and all of those stuff. I'm like, I'm surprised they don't have that. But
for me, like I've tried the gym stuff to try to train away arm pump, and there's really nothing that I've found that really does anything. It's more just having your cardio good.
yeah,
And riding a bunch. It's if you're not riding, like coming out of wintertime, I think everybody struggles with it, even pros. But when you ride a bunch and you're comfortable with your motorcycle, it seems to, for me anyways, it seems to be minimum or go away.
yeah, I think this is a good time to mention for folks that are not, especially again, not experienced racers, especially setup, like the way that your ergos on the motorcycle are set up are probably going to have a huge impact on how comfortable your arms and wrists are. I didn't want to dive into that on this episode, but it's like, hey, we should definitely talk about some bike setup, and there's some other episodes and stuff you can read up on that. Chris Birch has a fantastic series on that.
I would love to do an episode on that if you want to do into that sometime. I'm a setup nerd. Like I love it.
I am as well, but I'm worried about how do we translate that topic to radio? Like that's
Oh, it can be done. Yeah, it can be done. I mean, you might have a smaller audience for it, but I think people would enjoy that.
We should,
because I know a lot of people that they'll pick my brain, or we'll talk about it all the time. Like it's a popular subject. And if anything, like people that don't know, how important that type of stuff is, like you can learn something, right? Because it took me years to learn how to set up a motorcycle. So it's worth talking about.
There's no doubt in this topic, if you're coming into this, listening this, trying to figure out how to both be a better rider, prepare yourself and all that stuff, if your bike is set up wrong, you're losing energy.
It's a piece of the puzzle. I mean, literally.
Yeah, you're wasting energy because it's not set up the right way. So, do you do anything for anaerobic exercise?
No, just like I said, the zone 2 work is where I stay. That's my happy place. That's what I found that works for me. Just the longer you can do it, the better. I mean, that's going to be your endurance. And then I used to like track my heart rate a lot when I would ride and kind of see if you're getting anaerobic and stuff, but I don't do it as much anymore. My riding has gotten a lot less serious here in the last couple of years, at least to my standards. But yeah, just I think to keep it simple, just some good zone 2 work for most people will get you pretty dang far. Like it's good to be comfortable in zone 2. You can get by with a lot.
I'm going to do some homework in this space because I feel like, perhaps falsely, so send hate mail to either of us here. But I kind of feel like anaerobic, like I've got sprints and circuits and stuff for interval training written down here for that. But to some degree, the advantage being when you're super stuck and you know how it is. Like I got one chance to stand up on the pegs and dump this clutch and get through this, or I can't do it. And so it's like, I wonder if I put some effort into that. I could
for
get
sure.
some better returns.
My theory there is try not to get stuck.
That's always the best advice, right? Make better decisions.
It's easier to ride the motorcycle than it is to push the motorcycle.
Definitely that. We've talked about, I want to do some application toward the bike, and we've hinted at a whole bunch of this stuff. You probably get that T7 of yours hung up in places that between you and Andy in ways that I don't ever desire to see my bike. But as far as picking up your bike goes, can you relate to some of the fitness and how that translates to picking up the bike and, what workouts are helping what?
Oh, 100%. I think we've kind of touched on it already. I mean, for the most part, just being stronger in general than I was when I got the motorcycle. And I've probably put on in the last 2 years, probably 15 to 20 pounds in muscle. Just for one, not doing cardio like I was staying really, really lean. Like my shape that I was in when I was racing a lot, I was about 165.
Wow.
And I'm 5'11". So like that's pretty thin. But that was my happy spot for that. And since then I'm about 185 is where I cruise at these days. But just being stronger in general all over. I've noticed just even picking the bike up off flat ground is easier, just having more muscle, and specifically getting it on slightly off camber stuff upside down. I've had that happen quite a few times now. Just getting it halfway up with my upper body and then using my legs and my back to stand it the rest of the way up. I don't think I would have been able to do that at least as easy. Not being stronger. It definitely comes into play. I mean, you're working with close to 500 pounds, if not over, depending on what you're riding with these big bikes.
Is your technique different for the big bike versus what you did with dirt bikes?
No, not for the most part. I know a lot of people, you see these guys doing the reverse like pickup thing. For me, that just feels crazy. It feels awkward to me. And it feels more dangerous for my shoulders and stuff. I've tried it and just don't like it. But yeah, I just pick it up normal, by the bars or like even one hand on the bar and one hand on the like tail section. But yeah, I've not had too much trouble except when I've gotten it really, really upside down. But yeah, for the most part, I've been able to get it out of almost every predicament so far.
It's fun comparing notes with you because you hit on it already that like there's a lot of great videos out there to teach you how to pick up your adventure bike. But the vast majority of those videos are in a grassy field, on a gravel road, in a parking lot. Like you and I both know, again, that's the beginning of this episode. Like I get the bikes upside down. Like when they're upside down, dude, that's a disaster.
It's the worst case you have to prepare for. And like I told you in the beginning, that first time I dropped mine upside down, like it was not only upside down, like on a pretty good steep grade, the foot peg was hung in a root. Yeah. So like it was anchored in there. Like it wasn't, I don't think if I was by myself, I would have gotten it up at all. Like I know I wouldn't have.
Yeah. When I started racing, I told my buddy Jeff before I moved, I'm like, I need a tractor tire. Like I literally want something that's going to teach me to, don't lift with my back, lift with my legs, but literally have my hands at my feet, picking up this heavy thing and using this giant lever to flip this thing over. Right.
Yep.
So
it's all leverage. And you learn that, from one, picking up your motorcycle different ways. You learn what techniques work, but also just going to the gym. Like you learn leverage, you learn how to move weights with leverage.
Do you pick up one of the wheels and drag it around if it gets upside down?
I have. That's what I did. That's what we ended up doing that day that I had mine upside down and the peg was hung. When you're hung like that upside down, you basically have to spin it to get it out from where it's at. So I think we spun the front end around. Now it's been a year. Yeah, I think we drug the front end around to where basically when it was upside down, the teeth of the foot peg were latched onto that root. Yeah. So like I had to get it spun around to where like it was the smooth part of the foot peg that would slip over, and then we could actually move it and get it to a better position.
As an aside, as you and I go down memory lane here, do you remember the very first second holler race in July in 2020, I think is what it was? We did the Ridge. Yes, we actually rode the Ridge. It was called the Big Oak.
Yes, I do. That was my first KXCR race.
That really, really steep, gnarly downhill at the very edge of the property. Yeah. We ran that up for the hard enduro, and Andy got his T7 stuck on a foot peg and ripped it off from a root in that exact spot.
That's a monster hill.
Yeah, no, it's when we were headed that way. I'm like, oh, I know where we're going. Oh God, man, this is gonna suck, and I'm on a little bike. So anyway. What else was I going to talk about there? Getting unstuck. You did the Dirty 130 over the weekend, and you saw some of my favorite places to get stuck. So
I'm still on a high from it.
That stuff near around S Tree, like, and most of that stuff's like, those are county roads, right? Like all those are
Yeah,
abandoned county roads. And the ones I'm thinking of are that one where there's all those limestone high spots. The mud
yeah.
holes are probably pretty dry right now, but that's not normal.
Well, the two big ones are still pretty bad. Luckily,
Yeah.
there's a good high line on the left there going counterclockwise. But like I told you earlier, S Tree is completely, there's no puddles. And I
Yeah.
haven't seen it like that in years and years. Like
Yes.
it's crazy.
That's good advice, right? If you want to get out and get some bike fitness, there's never been a better time to go ride, Shell Toei Trace single track, 16.
Yeah.
It's all in. It's like 24 miles in that area, and it's some of the most beautiful country you'll ever see.
And especially right now, traction is everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. But I brought that up to say that to me, not necessarily picking up the bike, but getting unstuck from mud holes
Yeah.
and whatnot, I think is probably one of the number one issues that really burn out new ADV riders. How do you translate some of the muscle training and fitness and technique in that area?
That's a lot more. I mean, there is some strength there, obviously, when you've got to muscle the bike around, but it's a lot more technique, I think, for getting unstuck like that. The number one, I mean, it depends on the situation too, right? But the number one thing that I see people don't do is like they'll get stuck or high centered or whatever, and they're off the bike and they're leaning over the front and they're wide open on the throttle. Well, now you've got no weight on the rear wheel, and you're not going to get any kind of traction to make the bike, jump and go forward.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be weighted on the bike and most likely putting more weight towards the rear. So like pulling up on the bars, leaning back on the seat, trying to get that rear wheel to kind of grip and drive you forward. If you're stuck in mud and your tire is not going to get you out, that's when the strength comes into play, and you've got to do some rocking and some pushing, and you better have strong legs and strong arms because that's what you're using.
Yeah, I'm really glad you put on technique, because that's always my joke about C-Class. Like, buddy, that bike goes a lot more if you put your butt on that fender instead of letting it fly around the air.
and a big part of this too is line selection, man. Like I really avoid all that stuff if possible. And like, that's what you see riding with different skill levels and different groups. I mean, she might hear me and get mad, but like me and my wife will go on the same ride, and it literally looks like she went through a freaking mud bog, and my bike won't be that bad at all. And I'm like, did you hit every single mud hole like on the trail? And she's like, no. And I'm like, dude, your bike is caked with mud and mine has no mud on it. It's just like dust and some light splashings. I mean, I avoid that stuff, man, because I don't want to push my bike.
No,
I also don't want to get my feet wet if I don't have to.
I think for the novice riders, it's the dabbing. And I think you talked about it earlier, some of the fitness exercises to prepare people for all the dabbing and some of the paddling. So remind folks what you were recommending in that space, especially if it's stuff they can do at home.
Most importantly, the balance work on the bike, man. If you have good balance on the bike, you're not going to dab, But when you get in those situations where you do got to paddle, you do got to, find yourself in some muddy situations, your boots get heavy. If you've got a gym or you've got something at home you can do it with, the leg lifts are huge. I mean, you could even put your dirt bike boots on and do leg lifts, and it'd be like a weighted leg lift, and then you're actually replicating what you're doing on the motorcycle. So just get your body, accustomed to what you're going to be using it for.
Yeah,
prepare it for what you're going to do. That's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, make the bike do the work, and then I think there's a fitness aspect to paddling, because it's going to happen eventually. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. Like even the best guys, like you're going to, because I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. We're just going to go ride crazier conditions, right? So we're going to get stuck in some mud or be riding in a rainstorm or whatever. Like you're going to get stuck. The bike's going to do so much, so you just have to be ready for that moment.
The other condition you talked about, I have a fun story to tell, because I've been cleaning up the outlaw trails with my electric chainsaw lately.
Yeah.
I crossed a creek, and as soon as I hit the what looked like a sandbar, front wheel sunk to the axle, dude, instantaneously. Just
yeah, that's my number one fear with this Tenere. Like on a dirt bike, it's not as big a deal to like bury it, but man, I am very, very methodical when we come up on puddles and like creeks and soft spots that I'm not familiar with, because I know what it's going to take to get that thing out if it does sink. So I'm like, we rode some stuff that I told you about out there in that same vicinity a couple weekends ago, and like we come up on some areas where you really couldn't avoid the puddles. Like you had to choose the best line and go for it. I'm out there walking around in it, like sticking sticks in the holes to see what's solid, what's soft, how deep it is if you do sink, just very, very methodical and picking lines, and that'll get you pretty far too. Just try not to put yourself in a terrible situation.
That's 100% the case. I only wanted to mention the technique / the gym, that it was very much like, okay,
oh yeah,
I got to wiggle this bike side to side and side to side to get all this soup to let go of this front wheel. And then I got to hold it upright, not drop it on myself. And then and I was like using the podcast brain spokes, trying to use the spokes to roll that front wheel to get it out of that thing. But yeah, the balance and standing.
When you were by yourself probably too, right?
Yeah. Thank God I was on my 250, but it's a 300-pound 250 with a 5-gallon gas tank, dude. Like it's
not a mini bike.
No. And it's like, I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't want anybody rolling by asking me a lot of questions right now.
Right. Not somewhere you're supposed to be hanging out.
What are you doing with that chainsaw? Technically, this is public property, but
yeah, I mean, it all comes back to just general fitness, man. If you're decently strong and have a good base and you have some cardio in the tank, like that stuff's not going to phase you a whole lot. If you're running on fumes all the time and you're not prepared for those situations, like you're going to be zapped big time if you find yourself in a pickle.
Yeah, I've been in the gym this winter. Last year, I'd have been screwed. Like that bike I would have been like shoving the whole thing over, trying to drag it out of something. It would have been
Have you got to do much riding this year yet?
I have been lucky so far that I've got the 250 out some. Like I said, I've been working some of those trails. We got a lot of single track at an old park that the city of Dayton doesn't care about anymore, and it's down the street from the club I'm a member at. I've not been in the club much, but I've been cleaning that stuff up because it's full of ash trees. But
have you noticed after spending a winter in the gym, like anything yet?
I think it's beginning to pay off. Like I'm really anxious to get out. So the Denny Boom Country Byway, Back the Byway events coming up. I'm doing some, scenic intermediate stuff. So nothing like super hairy, but it'll be interesting to be on the bike off road after not really doing much off road this year. I think I'm only going to have 2 big adventure off road rides before that one. So we'll see how it goes. It's funny you said that. I also went right before my birthday. And I did feel more confident in some clay soup in February. You know how it is. The permafrost is only a couple inches underneath the mud, so that was interesting.
That's a good point too that I never really even thought of, man. When you are in better shape, like it breeds confidence because you can handle the tough situations.
No, I think that's really what it's been. Is that I haven't thought about that in a long time, but fear hits you. Like when you suddenly realize that you don't have enough gas in the tank to do this, I think there's a degree of panic that actually sets in. And I can only imagine it's worse if you've never seen anything like that before. I know what happens now, but I can't imagine.
This is probably relatable for a lot of people too. Like being out on a ride and like seeing, me and you will look at hill climbs or some kind of obstacle or something. If you're cruising on E, you're going to be like, nah, but if you're feeling it, like you got juice in the tank, like hell yeah, I'll hit that hill or I'll do that rock climb or whatever it is. Like it makes a more enjoyable experience when you're riding. You can do stuff because you have the energy.
Yeah, that's
the
usually
energy to
famous last
your
words.
Skill level.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the case. Cross training. You mentioned quite a bit about mountain bikes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you make plans for cross training, or can you help explain to people who don't understand the advantage of cross training?
I mean, the advantage of cross training especially mountain biking, it's just you're out there. For me, I think mountain biking translates to motorcycles a lot, especially if you ride single track, you ride in the woods. Like I was already a pretty experienced racer when I got into mountain biking. And it taught me a lot about line selection. When you're on a mountain bike, I do have a suspension mountain bike, but it's still, you don't want to still smash through the roughest stuff. You want to search out the smooth lines. And on a dirt bike, I really wouldn't do that. I would take the shorter line, regardless of how rough or whatever it was. And what it kind of taught me is I'm wasting energy. I need to find these smoother lines because even if it's a hair longer, I'm going to save energy and not be zapped at the end, at least as soon as I would be. So, and then you're just doing a different type of exercise than you can do in the gym or, on the motorcycle. So riding a mountain biking for me, it's good interval training. You're actually outdoors. It's enjoyable. It's fun. You don't really think about how much you're suffering unless you're really, really cranking and getting up to that max heart rate. I highly recommend it for anybody even on the fence about it. It's a great way to cross train.
It seems like the most like direct translation with the most benefits because you're getting all
Yeah.
the cardio, you're getting all the balance, you're getting
Yep.
traction, geology knowledge out of all this stuff. So
Yep.
I don't think it gets much better than that.
And you're outdoors in nature. I mean, it does it for me. Like if I could do it all the time, if we had the weather to support it, like it would be my go-to. I would never work out cardio in the gym if I could just mountain bike all the time.
I mean, you've talked about the T7, but you've also put another dirt bike in the garage since then too, right?
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, I've been building a bike slowly for the last year or so. I'm building a KTM 200 and a linkage frame. So I'm getting the itch to ride a dirt bike again and maybe do a little racing. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I brought that up because it's not in everybody's budget, right? Because I remember it being me. One bike, it's all I could have, and it was a big
Yep.
bike. But I really recommend to people, like, if you can get a trail bike, if you can get a cheap dual sport, to me,
Sure.
I feel like that cross training as well, because it's, you can go ride harder trails and not get in as much trouble. When things go south, you can get out of there a lot easier. Those skills translate too.
Especially, I mean, dude, like a cheap old trail, like something air cooled. Man, I mean, people turn their nose at them, but dude, they're big fun and they'll go
Yeah.
anywhere, like an old DR 350 or an XR 250 or something cheap, sub $2,000. I mean, it's low maintenance. You
Yeah.
get out there and you can go more places than you can go on your big bike. And, it's good, cheap fun.
I've been training on a KLX 230, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dude, if I
They're
find
awesome.
a deal on a KLX 230R for
Yep.
under $3,000, I'm gonna go get it because that's just
And
cheap
totally
fun.
capable, man. Like we used to ride, a buddy of mine had the CRF 230 and TTR 230s that he would use for trail cutting. So we'd like mount saws to him and stuff and take
Yeah.
them out there. But dude, we would he had like a 7-mile loop on his property and we would get out there and like race them.
Yeah.
You're just holding them wide open, like using the clutch to slow down in corners and stuff. And you're not going fast enough to hurt anything, but man, they were so much fun. You can have more fun on something like that than you would believe.
I think it's a Japanese guy. I follow some channel on Instagram, and the dude's literally riding trials on a KLX 230. Like, I'm
I
not
believe it.
exaggerating. That's totally
I
what
believe
he's
it.
doing, right? And I'm like, this engine's kind of punchy. Like, I'm sure that, for the average American out on the road, we're like, well, this thing sucks as a dual sport. But I'm like, no, this is kind of fun in the woods.
I mean, yeah, it just depends on like if you're riding with a bunch of dudes on KTM 501, 500s, like probably gonna suck, right? But if you've got a couple buddies that are kind of like-minded and you go out and get a couple of these similar motorcycles, like big fun.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, I think you've nailed it again. That those little bikes are so much fun, and you're learning so much technique. You can get so much fitness in, and all this other stuff, and you're just like a kid again. Like you're learning all this stuff, and you don't even realize it's happening.
Or even go explore some territory that you're maybe timid about on the bigger bike. You can use that smaller bike to go explore it and see what it's about and not get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
And then, decide if it's doable or not doable and then move on,
Yeah. No, and this, like, that's totally my thing. Like, I know stuff that's safe for the big bike, and I ride alone a lot. And there are other times like, no, taking the 250 because I can do anything on that. Once I go see how bad it is, like you and I were talking about Dirty 130 over the weekend. And I'm like, oh, I love that route. There's no way I'm taking my T7 there during a normal Kentucky spring. No, not happening.
No. If it's wet, that would be pretty hairy for sure.
Yeah, because for the listeners' benefit, that's a route I put together for the rally last year. And obviously I sent it to you, Jason. And yeah, when we scouted that, a couple of those creek crossings were impassable.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was horrendous. So that's why, like, yeah, it's pretty tame right now, but it was terrifying way back when.
We were gonna address the face slappers though. We were disappointed you didn't trim the face slappers in some places. My buddy Matt was like, "Who's the trail boss out here? Why are there so many face slappers?"
That, sir, is a sign of how infrequently people go out there. So enjoy it. I also tend to get tattooed by briars on roads like
I'm
that.
wearing them.
Yeah, you get new jerseys out of those rides.
Yeah.
So that's cross training. Priorities. If people can only do 2 things for their fitness, what are you going to tell them to do?
It depends on how much time you have. Like I wouldn't categorize it down to 2 things. If you're very limited on time, I would say cardio. Just go to the gym and do some cardio because that's going to pay dividends. You're going to get stronger naturally doing the cardio and riding the motorcycle, you're going to build a little bit of muscle doing that. So like if I had to pick, something to focus on, it would definitely be cardio. And it's just whatever works for you best, whatever you can achieve that desired heart rate and doesn't bother your, injuries or ailments you may or may not have. There's no, rhyme or reason to it. I personally, like I said, I choose the stair stepper because it does strengthen your legs at the same time, and it's really hard. So obviously the harder task you can choose, like it's going to pay off in the end. But that may not work with somebody that's got, worse knees than me, God forbid, or something, so
Yeah.
whatever you can do to achieve that zone 2, just do that. Then obviously if you can throw weights in too, that's only going to pay off even more.
Yeah. We didn't talk about it a whole lot, and obviously Google is your friend. I mean, there's tons of resistance training options, stuff you can do at home, stuff you can get in on the cheap. When I was overseas, guys were filling ammo cans with sand, whatever it took to make it happen.
Yeah. You can go pick up a cinder block or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, my wife's got, dumbbells from Amazon or Costco. And she loves it, man.
Yeah, I read an article one time, and it was like basically a home workout on a budget, and it was like get a couple, medium weight dumbbells and like this and that. But there's like you can dig around the internet for this type of stuff. But there's things people have put together out there to basically build a home gym on the cheap, and it's like sub $300.
Yeah, that's in today's day and age. Like a home gym's going to set you back probably $1,500 easily. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Like just getting regular bench and some weights. It's a big deal. So,
yeah.
What do you think out of all the stuff we talked about, what's probably low priority?
The lowest priority, I wouldn't say it's the lowest priority because it's my favorite, but it's the cross training because it's so variable with the weather. So it's the thing that comes and goes. Like the gym, I stay in the gym year round unless I'm injured. But it's, and the motorcycle, it's always as much as possible. The cross training for me is the weak link. If the weather sucks or it's raining or it's cold, like it's out, I just can't do it, unfortunately. But that's the one part of the puzzle that goes if I can't do it.
That makes sense though, right? Cause it's kind of the capstone, right? It is the highest benefactor. But at the same time, it's like, it means you're striving to get to the next level.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. No, I like that a lot. What are some mistakes? What are riders doing wrong about fitness or riding that we might want to circle back to or mention if we haven't talked about it yet?
I would say what they're doing wrong is not doing any of it. If you're just riding and not trying to be in shape, like
guilty as charged.
Yeah. And everybody starts out there, right? Like you just want to ride to have fun. And then, you at some point find out like, oh, darn, I need to be in better shape for this or whatever. Everybody's been there. So like, you're not getting picked on if this is you. But yeah, just do something. And somebody might say, well, I've only got X amount of time. I've only got 2 days a week or whatever. Just do something, man. Something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a gym rat and go 7 days a week? Maybe not. If you've got 2 days a week and you've only got 45 minutes per day, just fill that time slot with something. Like do something. Something is always better than nothing. That's the golden rule.
If I could tie in there, I often think about, my knees are bothering me or I don't have time for X, Y, and Z. I throw a bunch of crap in my rucksack and go for a walk, for a hike, something like that.
Yeah.
Walking.
Doing something.
Yeah. It's
don't sit on the couch and eat junk. Like that's the easiest thing to do, just do something. And be willing to learn, like even at my current point, like I'm always still trying to learn better ways to do things, different ways to do things and try them. And they may not be better for me, but they might, I'm always open-minded and willing to learn new techniques, new ways to do things. Stuff evolves, fitness evolves. The way you ride a motorcycle evolves. Everything changes. So keep an open mind and want to learn.
You mentioned sitting on the couch and eating junk, and I'm going to take that segue. Do you also have a nutrition plan, sir?
I wouldn't call it a nutrition plan, quote unquote.
There's some Busch Light involved.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a beer guy, man, but I don't drink during the week. That's a hard rule for me unless it's a special occasion. And I keep it on the weekends.
my rule of thumb is during the week, I try to keep it pretty clean, like a lot of meat and vegetables. I try to limit it to one pasta during the week because, you get some carbs in that. And we like pasta. So like, we're not trying to eat like professional athletes, but just be healthy. So meat and vegetables, whether it's chicken, beef, steak, pork, whatever vegetable to go with it. Usually one pasta dish, maybe a soup during the week if she's wanting a soup. I'm not a big soup guy, but I'll tolerate them. And then the weekends, it's kind of whatever, but if you can eat good 5 days a week, that's a good rule to live by. And might go out and have some wings or some pizza or something on the weekend and a few beers. Like who cares? You got to live a little bit. If you get too strict with it, man, life's just miserable, and then you're not going to really be enjoying yourself at all. So,
I mean, I'm jumping on a bandwagon here for sure, and it could be age. I realize how much life changed for me when I cut out sugar. Like it's amazing. And I recently, this was hard because I've been a diet soda drinker since 2005, 20 years.
Which is worse than regular.
Probably, right? Like, if I look at junk food, I gain pounds. That's just, and I know people looking at the video are like, are you serious? I'm like, okay, if you saw pictures of my family, you would understand that I'm a micro person by comparison. Like there's a fat kid that lives inside this. I'll post pictures online if necessary.
I have the proof.
Yeah, I have evidence for sure. But yeah, to quit, I quit drinking soda. I only drink water and coffee now. So there's nothing in there, but I feel better. It's
a good point, man. You hit the nail on the head, and I kind of left that part out. We try to minimize the sugar, and we went hard stop with the sugar. Mm-hmm. It was about, I want to say 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. We went on the carnivore diet and did a complete sugar cutout and did it for like almost 2 months. And it was rough. Like you go through, and part of it was the carnivore too, but like cutting all that stuff out at the same time, like you almost feel like you have the flu. Yeah. Like we got feeling pretty weak and pretty bad for a few days. But man, on the other side of it, like I wasn't even really trying to lose weight, and I lost like 11 pounds. Like I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but it just naturally happens. And, but on the other side of it, man, like you feel so much better and everything tastes better. And the next time you have something with sugar in it, you're like, ugh, like it's not even good. Like, and another thing, like you didn't realize how much stuff had sugar in it until you started looking around trying to avoid it. Like, dude, it's in ketchup. It's in everything. Like it's literally every sauce you can think of in your fridge has sugar in it. Every sauce. Yeah. So then we were, searching out sugar-free ketchup and sugar-free barbecue sauce and stuff like that, because I'm a saucy guy. Like I gotta have sauce on all my meats. We can't have no dry meat. Like gotta have it sauced up. And man, it's just tough. You can do it. It just takes some work and some diligence. But
it was chicken, rice, and butter. And people are like, how do you eat all that butter? I'm like, well, I'm not eating sugar. It's great.
Yeah. The media and the food system tricked everybody into thinking butter was bad years ago. It's not. I mean, in excess, right? Like everything in moderation, but it's not that bad. It's a good fat,
Yeah. I don't want to beat people over the head with that, because we've all got to make choices. It's relevant to the podcast that it was like when I wanted to start eating healthier, it was amazing. When I cut out sugar, counted calories, I lost 30, 35 pounds. Actually, that was when we were racing. I'm sure you remember looking at me. I've obviously also added some LBs since then. But yeah, it's amazing how easy it is. I wasn't hungry. Like
I think the wintertime does it for us all. And that's a good point too. When you're eating better, like most junk food is empty carbs. Like you get full of substance, but you don't get full of nutrients or protein. Right. So you might feel like physically full, but you're not really full. And then an hour later you're hungry again or whatever. And you want to eat more junk. So you eat more substance, protein rich meats and stuff like that. Like you just feel better. You're not as hungry as often, and you have more fuel to do what you need to do.
Do you pack specific snacks on the trail?
Sometimes, for like big rides. Yeah. Like I'll take like a protein bar of some sort. And then like, we get these stingers, or like these little waffle things that are, it's like a sugary treat, but it's not very much sugar, but it tastes kind of sweet, but just a little something to give you some carbs on the go. Stuff like that. Maybe some peanuts, keep it simple. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say I like bringing cashews with me. Salted cashews are my snack of choice.
couple beef sticks or something, just easy, quick, small stuff that you can throw in your pack.
Yeah, beef jerky and cashews, and then I got to pack dental floss because I have a famous story. Yeah, you start chewing beef jerky and you're doing this in your helmet all day, trying to get something unstuck from your tooth, and you have a headache. By the
peanuts and beef sticks, both protein-rich foods. So I mean,
definitely the way there. You mentioned hydration a little bit. Do you do anything special for hydration?
It depends on the day or the event or whatever. I mean, for a normal, just a ride, no. If it's going to be like a race or like something where I know I'm going to be, physically challenged, I'll try to limit the alcohol, number one, like the night before, if I'm a good boy.
Yeah.
And then load up on the electrolytes, man. Like drink some water, drink some electrolytes. Do that the night before, the morning of, and then just make sure you have plenty of water throughout the day. I'm not a fan of packing electrolyte in my water pack in my bladder because it makes them nasty, like they'll mold and stuff.
Yeah, they get moldy.
So I'm a water only guy in my bladder just to keep them clean. And I've gotten used to that over the years. Some guys love to have electrolytes with them or whatever. And that's fine. I just don't want to deal with sucking mold out of my straw. And I've had that happen once and it will not happen again. So but yeah, it's just making sure you're hydrated. And like, if it's a big event where it's going to be really, really hard, I'll start that a week early.
Really?
Yeah. Just slowly, which I don't drink any pops. I'm a water and like I drink Powerade or Gatorade zeros, sugar-free electrolyte sports drinks. That's my flavor beverage. I'll have a few of those a day. But like really loading it, if I've got something coming up, like making sure I'm getting ample amount, and the electrolyte, helps your body to hold the water. If you're just drinking water, it kind of passes through a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why that's more beneficial.
I don't know if it's real or not, but I had my my cardiologist buddy tell me to eat salty popcorn to help.
Yeah. Anything salty, like you can put salt in a drink and do that. Like it'll make you retain a little more water. It's funny you said that. Like there was a part in my racing career where I was getting cramps pretty bad and I was hydrating and doing all the stuff, right? Like doing what I thought I was supposed to do. But I'd gotten to a point in my diet where I was eating like super, super clean, like probably the cleanest I've ever eaten. And I wasn't using any salt. And a buddy of mine said, dude, you got to start putting some salt in your food. And I was like, I thought it was bad. And he's like, no, you got to have some. Like, you don't want a lot. Like, you don't want to overdo it. But he's like, start putting some salt back on your food and you'll notice a big difference. Sure as shit, I put some salt in my food and I started retaining water and not having cramps as bad.
I went through a similar thing, right? Like I said, when I lost all that weight, like physiology changed dramatically, and I'm like thirsty all the time, and it's that and the other. And yeah, my wife does tease me about how salt is a primary food group for me. She's like, you can't do that. I'm like, you don't understand. I have to do that now because all I drink is water. I'm not drinking soda or any of this other stuff. I'm not getting salt anywhere else. I got to get crazy a little bit.
That's exactly what it was. Like I had cleaned up my diet significantly and like cut a bunch of weight and was like really lean, but to a point where I was almost dehydrated on a daily basis, so.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you don't do any type of other like, what's the word for it? Electrolyte packets or anything like that. You just
not the packets. My wife does, and occasionally, like if we have some when we're camping or something, like I might do one, but no, mostly the bottled drinks, just because we always have them. It's easy. But no packets for me. I'll do if it's a race specifically, I like Pedialyte or even the off-brand stuff. Like I'll load those the night before and the day of. They do wonders, man. Like it's a big difference. Like so much more than just drinking like a sports drink. They really do work. Nice.
Anything that we left out before I hit you with a closer? And then probably one more question after that.
Man, again, you can't say it enough. Just do something. I know a lot of people, time is of the essence, man. Nobody has enough of it, and the older you get, the smaller that window seems to get. Even if you have one day a week, just do something, and obviously ride as much as you can, which was just tough for some people, but just do something. If you can do one thing, even one day a week, it's going to improve your total experience. And then maybe that, opportunity grows and you get more time or more days a week to do something. You figure it out because you see that it's working.
That was my next question, was going to be if somebody's listening to this podcast and says, okay, I've reached a point of desperation, I need to change something. What would you tell them that they should start with right now? Like, what can they do this week to change their trajectory?
Go, if you're not a member of a gym, go join a gym and start doing some cardio. Or if you just get outside and walk, I mean, just do something. Just get outside and get moving.
Rock solid, like that. What riding plans are on the horizon for you, sir? Because I know you sent me a text about some stuff.
It is Monday the 27th, and this coming weekend is Renfro Valley Dual Sport. So it's going to be dry, I think, for the second time in the 12 or 13 years that I've known about it, and I'm pretty excited for that. Which I'm not shy of the mud. We rode an absolute mudder last year, and it was a blast. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it being dry, man. Get the rip a little bit and go a little faster, so that'd be cool. Other than that, I'm going to try to sneak some big rides in down in, your secret territory. I've got a couple 24-hour rallies coming up this year. I will be making an appearance at the Red River Scramble this year, so I'll be there. And if I can get this damn dirt bike done, I'd like to do a couple hare scrambles, but that's on the outside bubble.
Where are you doing 24-hour race?
One in Ohio, the Wayne National Forest one, and then one in West Virginia, Chemical Valley.
Okay.
And then I'm hoping to obviously qualify top 10 and do the Kentucky finale in Boonville. So that's really I just want to do Kentucky. That's the only reason I'm doing these other ones. I'm sure they'll be fun, but
if you qualify to do that one, you will probably be the sleeper in that event for people who don't listen to this podcast. Because I'm like, I don't know what's down there that you don't know if they do that similar route again.
I'm sure there's some really good guys there. I know the territory though. Like we ride that stuff a lot, and it's cool. I mean, I just like being out there. I just want to experience it, and it's something new for me, right? Like a 24-hour rally. That'll be the longest I've ever been on a motorcycle. So I'm excited about it. It's less of a competition type thing for me, and just something cool to experience for me. Like I just want to do it and hopefully get to be able to do the Kentucky round.
I'm anxious to compare notes with you. I'm really curious about what you're going to do about lighting and navigation. And per our text message this morning, I'm very anxious to see how your navigation journey goes.
I'm sure you'll get a laugh, but yeah, I've got a loose game plan and a loose program, but I think it'll be okay. Like talking to some other people that have done these things, like it's not crazy. Like it's achievable with very minimal. I think.
Yeah. No, that part's true. It's just, my perspective has been like, man, navigation is the game changer for the vast majority of motorcyclists, man. There are two types of people that ride motorcycles, people who can ride a map and everybody else that's lost. Like that's pretty much how it rolls.
Yeah. And it's for me, it's just for the main thing, just training my brain to, like you said, look down and check every once in a while, because you just get locked into looking where you're going. And like I said, I call it closed course syndrome, where I've been a racer for so many years following arrows. Look down at the damn map,
it's many times. Side-by-sides have been back through here the past 3 days, and I just chased them down some random trail like, we missed a turn about a half a mile ago. So, for sure. Any last closing comments for the listeners, sir?
No, nothing we haven't already said. Just if you can do anything to, improve your strength, your cardio on the motorcycle, you're going to enjoy it more. That's the bottom line. When you're tired, it sucks. It doesn't matter what you're doing or what kind of bike you're riding. When you're gassed, the ride's over, right? And then it's harder than it needs to be.
And with that, we will catch the listeners down the road.